Exactly 1 year ago, back in March of 2023, I decided to quit my full-time job within corporate to go all in with entrepreneurship and build something of my own. I'm going to be breaking down my 1 year summary, my financial results, as well as next steps in the journey. Hey y'all, my name is Ricky. I'm originally from Venezuela. I am an engineer that turned into business owner. My purpose with this video is to show you how I was able to make closely to what I was making within my corporate job with my own business all within 1 year. As soon as I graduated college, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to go into a corporate job. I started working at a firm called Accenture. They do tech consulting services. It's actually the fourth biggest company in the world based on employee size. And they currently have about 750,000 employees. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought going into business was going to be something difficult and challenging and almost quote unquote impossible. However, after educating myself, I quickly came to realize to be able to do business, what you got to be willing to do is to educate yourself and get started in the journey, provide value to the market, and then you'll be able to reap the results. I started my consulting job back in 2021. Deep down, my goal was to stay there for a few years, maybe 3 to 5 years, build enough of a safety net, build a career, and then eventually find out what I wanted to do and go after it. As I was working full-time, I decided to start developing myself, developing my skills to be able to keep true to that promise that I had made myself, that I was not going to stick with a corporate job for longer than 5 years. The main reason behind it was, honestly, I wanted to be able to find my true purpose. I wanted to be able to build something on my own. I wanted to be able to be independent, right? To be able to have freedom, to be able to make my own decisions. At least I believe that I was going to be able to accomplish that through, being a business owner or entrepreneurship. Through this video, I'm going to walk you through kind of like the 3 main pillars that I had to go through to be able to achieve what I did for the past year. We turned $1 into $90,000 and a whole year of work. At first, I knew it was a must for me to start educating myself, to invest in self-development. And that's exactly what I did. Initially, me and a group of friends decided to buy a course on e-commerce and drop shipping. I spent about 2 to 3 months, putting in the work to be able to develop that store. After the period of time, I just was not passionate about it. It wasn't it for me. It was purely financially driven. And so the biggest takeaway I had from this course was actually the access to a couple of names of people that were huge on self-development. The names were Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor. And so I decided to start consuming that content from them. Jim Rohn has a 4-hour seminar, and I would listen to it repeatedly and take notes, which basically teaches you the fundamentals of what we call success. Bob Proctor talks a lot about how to change your mindset, your paradigm shifts, and it was very, very valuable to me. And I want to say those two really kickstarted and started the flame within me to go after, my bigger purpose. Quickly after that, Tony Robbins came into the picture. And so in 2022, I attended my first seminar. It's called UPW, Unleash the Power Within. And I made the promise to myself that at the end of the year, I was going to quit my job. I didn't know how. I just knew that that's what I wanted to do. And so I made a quick plan right after the seminar as to how I was going to be able to do that. Again, I didn't know exactly what I was going to be doing. I just knew that I needed to make a plan to be able to exit out of it. And so the first thing that needed to get in place was my financial. There's a great book called I Will Teach You to Be Rich from a guy from Stanford. I believe he even has shows on Netflix now. But it really allowed me to set the foundations, to be able to create a safety net, to be able to place the right investments and automations in order to just manage my finances overall. Right after that, at the end of 2022, I was able to accumulate enough of a net worth or a safety net to be able to cover my expenses for a full year. And so I said to myself, it's time to go. I need to get started. We still didn't know what we were going to be doing. And so at that point, I came across Grow Your Agency, Eamon Gadzhi, and the model of consulting. At the same time, I had seen another article from a different source that talked about how really the best model to get started at the beginning as a business owner is to do consulting services. Anything that you're good at, any skill that you might have, any knowledge that most people don't have, you could really provide to the market, right? And so I signed up for the course and I used pretty much half of the year in 2022 to be able to prepare myself, set the right foundations, learn the skills that I needed to learn or that I wanted to learn, and start looking for clients to be able to do the work for them. At the beginning of 2023, I started doing the research, as to how I was going to be able to quit my job. I wasn't really sure what I was going to do and how I was going to do it. All I knew is that I was scared. I was really worried about how I was going to make the leap. And then I remember reading an article about Jeff Bezos and how he was able to make the decision to quit his job in Wall Street, earning multiple six figures when he was there. And it is the test of the rocking chair, right? 60 years from now, I'm currently 28 years old, but 60 years from now, sitting on my deathbed or sitting on the rocking chair, would I ask myself, or would I regret not going for it? So considering death, considering how life is so quick and it vanishes so fast, I said to myself, I'm doing this, right? This is all the decisions, or like, this is all that I need to be able to like go after it. I wanted to be strategic about it. I didn't want to burn any bridges. And so lucky enough for me, my company offer 3-month leave of absence, which is you have the opportunity to go for 3 months without a salary and then come back with a job still available for you. So I placed the request to be able to start that in March of 2023. At the end of March of 2023 was when I basically stopped working for my previous company and I started to go all in with my business. At the same time, I got my first client that month. You must have thought, maybe you're thinking it was the ideal client. It really wasn't. And I still remember that I only charged them $1. My plan was to work for free for a full month, prove the value that I could bring to that client, and then, if it made sense for them, to partner up for a longer partnership. It didn't really play out that way. At the end of the month, this founder wasn't willing to go to the next step. To mitigate that, I started doing the same things to look for new clients, and they did turn into paying clients. At the time, I was charging very little money for my services. My goal was to learn and make sure that the skills that I was providing or the service that I was providing was top notch. Fast forward to June, we acquired new clients and they were paying clients, and we were lucky and I was able to hire my first employee. This was someone basically supporting me with everything that needed to be done within the business. The following 3 months, we grew a ton and I was able to hire 2 other team members. And so for a total of 3 members plus me. And that was very valuable, learning different skills, how to lead by example, how to influence, and how to provide value and motivate my team internally and our clients externally. Our peak month was about $20,000 a month, which occurred right around, at the end of Q4, November, December. And it was a ride. Looking back, again, we got started back in March of 2023. We charged just $1 for our services and provided the value for a full month. And fast forward 12 months after, we've had the opportunity to work with 9 different clients, and the business has produced in revenue close to $90,000. Or what I'm still not making what I was making back at my full-time job. I'm very confident that with everything that we've learned, we are now able to scale, putting the systems in place, creating the right culture internally. My intention with this is to kind of show you what is possible. And I had the opportunity to go after this. I am an immigrant. I moved here and I didn't even know how to speak English. I learned the language by putting myself out there. My first few jobs were within sales, and that's what really created the character within me. Becoming an entrepreneur, the biggest, now looking back into the last year, biggest realizations that I've made is creating the purpose is extremely important. Defining why we're going after what we're going after. There's many struggles, especially emotional struggles. Usually, they're emotional. It's a roller coaster. When we've had really good months and everything feels great. And then we've also had very bad months where you're also having to carry the whole team. And so it is still possible to be able to, grow your business, do your own thing. Again, these were my pillars as to how I was able to get started into it. And I hope that you use it as inspiration and that you find it valuable if you're in the path of doing the same thing, or if you have already gotten started. My plan is to continually share this journey with everybody out there and support as many people as I can.